Hello everybody. I'm very happy to be with you today. So you might wondering why is this title, Emergency Gear Landing? We can sometimes think that performing Pillar 2 calculation is as complex as piloting a plane. The goal of this presentation will be to see how we can land this plane using auto. To give you a bit more information about my profile, so I'm an engineer. I also did some business education. I did some consulting activities abroad, helping project managers all across the globe to improve the performance. And now I joined Algonomia as the head of digital transformation services to help big groups and tax departments to digitize their processes with auto. So a few words to present Algonomia. Algonomia is a French startup founded in 2017 by 3 co-founders. They by his experience, see that the tax departments didn't have lots of help and digital tools to help them performing the action. So that's why they created Algonomia and their solution to help them. I will now present a little bit more with whom we are working and who trust us with our solution. We mostly work right now with French groups from the CAC 40. We work with Alstom, Engie, Ipsen, the Group Renault, and myself. I'm directly implicated into the projects of Schneider Electric Group, and we started expanding abroad. We are now working also with Corporation America Airports, who trust us for implementing Pillar 2 calculations tool for them. We also build strong links with distribution partners and partnerships like Deloitte and Fidel Advocat. We usually can work in a 3-party model where we can use their consulting advices combined with a tool to generate even more value. And we also work with educational partners like EDEC, the Wirtschaft Universität of Vienna. We just made a presentation a few weeks ago, and also EDEC, a lawyer school in France. So what is our philosophy? What is our motto at Algonomia? We want you to take control through the digitization of your governance. So we offer you a tool that will be enabling you to control and master the whole value chain from the data gathering of your processes to the filing of your obligations. And to do so, we developed our solution, so the LEAF platform. What is the LEAF platform? The LEAF platform is composed of 2 main elements. The first one is the platform itself. It's a workflow manager. It will allow you to capture the information automatically if you connect it directly to your ERP systems. And if the data is not consolidated, you have the capability to create custom questionnaires that you can spread across your organization to capture this information. The second aspect of our solution is a set of applications that will help the tax department to perform the action. To go in a little bit more detail regarding these activities and the apps we offer, first we have a first section regarding BEPS obligation and OECD obligations. We have transfer pricing tools, so we are doing operational TP and also the automated documentations with the data we are able to capture. For today, what we will see is that we perform the CBCR filing and doing the Pillar 2 calculations and filing also. The second aspect of the application we propose is more regarding tax reporting. We are doing the tax proof analysis, the effective tax rate calculations, and everything regarding your tax risk management. So today, what will be the flight path to secure the gear landing? We will do it in a few steps that I will describe right now. So the first step will be to assess our starting position, where we are. And to do so, we will have to capture the data that will allowing us to perform the calculation. The second step will be to perform the calculation itself with our onboard calculators to review and calculate the results. The next step will be to review this information and analyze it, and finally how to land the plane and how to finally generate the gear XML file to file for the administrations. So regarding the first step, collecting the data, we have to identify and implement the correct processes to gather the information depending on the different degrees we are going to review to ensure we will be able to land our plane safely. So first step will be to identify what is the maturity level regarding the whole data set. So our platform is allowing you to integrate as much as possible your processes. You can, for example, just start with pillar 2, but as we can see, we need lots of information also coming from other processes. And our platform, depending on your level of maturity, is allowing you to consolidate every element and every data point in one single place, from pillar 2 then to the CBCR and public CBCR. And also, if you have been able to have a good tax pack, we can also integrate it directly into the platform to generate a coherent data model that we will be using for performing the calculation. The second step is to evaluating the complexity level that we will have to face. It will directly impact the strategy we will implement. Do we have a minimal approach to limit the efforts, or do we need to go full energy, full effort to perform the detailed calculations? From the different projects we're managing, we have identified a different degree that needs to be reviewed to assess the complexity. The first degree is regarding the group structure. How is my group constituted? So how many entities do I have? Do I have 50 entities? Do I have thousands, hundreds and thousands of entities to capture information? The second aspect will be to the simplicity of the ownership structure. Is it like directly owned 100% by the UPE, or do I have a very complex structure where I can even create loops, and that will be directly impacting the indirect detention of the group, and it will definitely impact the pillar 2 calculation. Last aspect is also the existence of special entities. Do I have just constituent entity and few permanent establishments, or do I have even more complex form like transparent entities, joint ventures, investment entities, or minority subgroups? The next big elements to review is the availability of the financial data. We can decompose that into 3 other elements. The first one is the presence of consolidation layers. Is my data directly available at the constituent entity level, or is it already, I would say, consolidated in more complex layers, and this data has to be then separated to perform properly the calculation? The next aspect is, do I have this data per constituent entity? Do my constituent entity already capture all the financial elements, and is it, I would say, consolidated in one single tool, or is it spread across several systems, and I need to build complex processes to capture these elements? And finally, this is the availability of the data for the adjustments. The different adjustments need lots of information. In some simple case, you can have everything consolidated in one place, but from most of our clients, it will require extra processes to get this information. Depending on the level of complexity, we will have to adapt this strategy. The first calculation we'll perform will be the safe harbor. If it's also, I would say, a simple case and you don't have to perform the detailed calculation, then the process will be simple. But if we have to perform the detailed calculation, then you have to reconsider how you will organize your whole data capturing process. So we have different strategy to implement, and our platform is allowing you to execute any kind of strategy. For the most simple elements, if everything is consolidated, we can directly connect our platform to your ERP system to perform the calculations. And for the most complex, if everything is not consolidated, then we can create custom questionnaires and processes to capture this information at the right level of your organization. Once we have been able to define the capturing data strategy, we can go to the next step. Step of calculation will be performed. We will first realize first control, I would say, of the data we have been able to capture to make sure it's coherent. And then we will run the full algorithm to perform pillar 2 calculation. So as you can see on this schema, we have a different step of what our algorithm is performing. So algorithm is open source to be completely auditable, and will be enabling you to perform all these steps for the calculation. So for the first step, we will recalculate the subgroups of your company. So depending on the detentions and the methodology of consolidations, and the direct detentions, we will be able to recreate the different subgroups considering your entity. Then we will also be able to perform the safe harbor calculations to ensure if you're passing through or not. And if not, then we will perform the more detailed calculations to have a good assessment of your top-up tax. When it's performed, we will then apply the different strategy or EER or UTPR methodology to make sure to calculate who is going to pay what to whom. When all the calculations have been performed, we have then the capability to push it directly into the file for the GIR and also for the QDMTT filing. Another aspect is when we perform this the calculation, we have created dedicated screens and visualization for you to be able to review your calculation. So this specific visualization will allow you to review step by step the calculation from the safe harbors, then to the detailed aspect like the global income and all the adjustments that will be composing it, and also for the covered tax. For some groups, to gain visibility, we mapped their whole accounting structure, and they are now able to drill down the data until they get to the accounts to give them full visibility on how the results is obtained. When we have been able to perform the calculation, then we have the capability then to use the, I can say, the flight indicators to see where we are, what is the impact for my company after I perform the calculation. So inside the platform, we created a few BIs visualization to allow you to assess what will be the impact of Pillar 2 on your company. Final step, one of the most difficult for the moment, is to ensure landing and then generate the GIR file. From what you see on the screen, I don't know if you all open an XML file, but it can be quite hard at the beginning to understand one and quite hard to read. It's made for the machine and not specifically for the humans. So this is why in the platform, we have created a specific vision and visualization, of the data with all the controls that are required. So we integrated the OECD control, and we also, for the moment, included the French control. But if for the countries you want us to integrate your controls, we can put it inside the platform. So directly in the interface, you will have the capability to review all the information you might need to file for your GIR. So now how it's looking like in terms of timeline. So we are starting collecting data, I think 2024. We filed the CBCR end of 2025, and now we will have to prepare the GIR for end of June 2026. Lots of our customers clients now trusted us for being able to deliver the GIR, and we hope that you will also work with us to be able to generate this document with us. So I presented to you all the elements I wanted. I will now show you a demo of our tools and how we can help you generate this file. I will go inside the platform. So as I was saying, the service is web-based, so you can access it from everywhere. We are here in the landing page of the platform. You can see on the bottom the different applications you might have subscribed to and the whole indicators you can get. So if you have notifications, if you have alerts for action to perform, it will be displayed here. Before I deep dive into the applications of Pillar 2, I will give you some more elements regarding the structure of the tool. One of the key elements inside of it is the capability to create parameters and mimic, I would say, your company structure. So in the configuration dashboard we have on the tool, you will have the capability to create dimensions and parameters to capture the complexity of your structure. This is a key step to the implementation of this solution, because it will be enabling us to capture the data at the right level and prepare the aggregation of the data also at the right level. Once we have performed this action, we will have the capability to allow to give rights to your users, also depending on these parameters. It means that everything will be secured depending on the rights and the parameter you assign to your users. So to deep dive now a bit more into the Pillar 2 applications, I will start with the workflow aspect. So as I was saying, all platform is a workflow manager. So you have the capability to construct processes to get the information. In our example, we have several tasks to capture data. We have the legal information, the jurisdiction data, and also the financial data. In our example, the legal and jurisdiction are centralized information, like in your ERP system, and the financial information are decentralized and not consolidated. It means that we have the capability to generate for each and every of your entity a specific questionnaire that they can access and they can complete manually or through Excel imports if they want to do so. Once we have been able to capture this information, we have validation loop inside the questionnaires to make sure this data is qualified at local level and also at group level. Once everything is prepared, we have a tool we call structured file that will be gathering this raw data and we're projecting it into a nicer visualization to review the calculation. So I will open one just right now. It's one of the visuals of the presentation. It'll take a few seconds. And I will launch our algorithm. So here you can see different tables that will be allowing you to review the whole calculation of pillar 2. The first step will be to review the scope. So what are my entities? What is my consolidation methods? And what is the indirect detention by the UP that will be used for performing the calculation? Next step will be also to review my group structure. So I can review also all the direct detention, direct links I have between my elements. Next step will be to define what are my elections. So regarding the calculation, I can make some choices that will be impacting the calculation. I can here select what's the scenario, and I can also use this tool to generate an assess scenario. So I can test if I select this or this election, what will be the impact for my calculation. I will just switch in English. I just say I'm still in French. Sorry for that. Then next step is the subgroups. So our algorithm is calculating how many subgroups do I have? Do I have JV? Do I have MLC? Do I have groupies, MOMNs? And the final step will be the full analysis of my calculation. So I have the capability here to review the different steps. For the safe harbor calculation, I can drill down and review which entities passed or not, and which tests failed or succeed, depending on the data I've been able to capture. For example, France is okay, it's going through the TEI test, but for Great Britain, in my example, it didn't pass any of them. And this will generate for me then top-up tax in the calculation. So like this, I have the capability to review each and every step of my calculation. Once we have been able to validate this data, we have the capability to generate my GIR file. So I will switch interface and I will access a specific tool to generate the XML document. I will launch the generation of it. And here we can see I will have and retrieve all the information I've been able to capture into my interface. We can review the control, what is, if it's mandatory or any kind of control. And I will also get a status of what are the errors that are detected inside my file. And then I'm able to review and correct them. When everything is ready, I can contribute and I can generate my GIR XML file that I will be able to upload into the administration website. That's it for my demo.